20 years ago, my husband disappeared. No goodbye. No letter. No explanation. Just gone. I spent years asking myself what I did wrong. Then one rainy evening, someone knocked on my door. When I opened it, a young woman stood there, holding an old photograph. And the first words out of her mouth made my knees go weak. "Are you Sarah?" I nodded. Then she said, "I think my father was your husband." "My name is Sarah. I'm 58 years old. I was 38 when Michael left. We had been married for 14 years. No major fights. No signs. At least none I saw. He kissed me goodbye that morning. Said he'd be home by dinner. He never came back. At first I thought something terrible had happened. An accident. A robbery. Anything. But after days turned into weeks, I understood. He had chosen to disappear. For years, I carried the weight of that question. Why? Why would a man leave without a single word? Was I not enough? Had I missed something? People tried to comfort me. But abandonment leaves a different kind of wound. It's not just heartbreak. It's the endless silence of never knowing. 20 years later, on a cold autumn evening, someone knocked. Standing there was a young woman. Maybe 23. Dark hair. Eyes that looked painfully familiar. In her hand, an old photograph. Me and Michael. Taken on our honeymoon. I felt my heart stop. Then she said, "My father died last month." Her name was Emily. And according to everything she knew, Michael had been living in another state for nearly 2 decades. With another family. A wife. A daughter. A whole life. My stomach turned. For 20 years, I had been mourning a ghost. Meanwhile, he had simply started over. Then Emily handed me an envelope. It had my name on it. Michael's handwriting. I hadn't seen it in 20 years. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a letter. "Sarah. If you're reading this, it means I no longer had the courage to tell you this in person. I was diagnosed with a degenerative illness. I panicked. I thought leaving was easier than letting you watch me fall apart. I froze. But the letter continued. That was only part of the truth. He admitted everything. The affair. The new life. The lies. The cowardice. He had met another woman months before he left. Instead of facing what he had done, he ran. He told himself it was mercy. But really, it was fear. Emily sat across from me, tears in her eyes. "I didn't know about you until after he died." She had found my photograph hidden in an old box. Along with every anniversary card I had ever written him. He had kept them all. Every single one. That hurt in a different way. Because it meant he had never truly let go. I wanted to hate him. Part of me did. 20 years of pain. 20 years of questions. 20 years of rebuilding myself. And now suddenly. Answers. Too late. Always too late. But then something happened I never expected. Emily kept visiting. At first to ask questions. Then for coffee. Then dinner. Slowly. The daughter of the man who broke me became part of my life. She wasn't his betrayal. She was innocent. And somehow, she became the closure I had waited 20 years for. A month later, Emily brought me one more envelope. Inside was a second letter. Shorter. "Sarah. The greatest regret of my life was leaving the woman who loved me most. I know forgiveness is too much to ask. But I hope one day you stop blaming yourself. It was never your fault." I cried harder than I had in years. Not because I forgave him. Because I finally stopped blaming myself. Sometimes closure doesn't come from the person who hurt you. Sometimes it comes from the truth. And sometimes, healing begins the moment you realize their betrayal was never a reflection of your worth.